the vampire lifestyle relates to spirituality. I came to this conclusion during water fasting years ago. I like to put the puzzles together of the things that I come across, and I go with my higher self and my intuition of how this goes. There are so many metaphors within movies and TV shows, and if you look at spirituality, if you understand it, how to experience spiritual awakenings, you can understand that it does relate in a way. And you know that us vampires are nothing like in the movies or in the novels. No, we do not sparkle. It is all spiritual and metaphor. It's like example, not having reflection. Of course, we have reflection. If you astral project and you go to a mirror, are you going to see your reflection? No. Because it's all about the spiritual body. Now, what about on the physical plane? The sun. Well, in a way, it still relates to the spiritual world. Say, like, after you die and then you go to the light. That's a metaphor for the sun, burning away who you are. And then you end up reincarnating, and you don't want that, do you? Sanguinary vampires feed for blood, but it is all about the energy. You're getting that energy from that life force. It's a powerful life force, as you already know. And, of course, there are donors called Crimson Dawn. These donors go to doctors to get checked, and so they could prove to us that they're clean. So we just doesn't go on and biting people or attacking them or have these uncontrollable cravings. Although when you go through that awakening, like, you know, most people maybe in their early teens or even when they're in childhood or later in life, even around my age, you go through that awakening and you find out who you truly are. And sometimes the craving can be intense, not unless you learn how to ground and center yourself. And that also goes for psychic vampires. And, you know, many people in the vampire community will not consider them as real vampires because it's like, oh, they don't count because they're only going for the life force energy, the prana, the ki, the ka, other names that they call it, or chi, like in China they call it chi. So, or sexual energy or chaotic energy, like bullies and sociopaths, psychopaths, and borderlines, for example. They get that energy from causing chaos with abuse. But to me, it's all the same, except for Signarians, of course. So, I'm not going to say that there's chaotic vampires. There are sexual vampires or tantra, or there's elemental vampires or vampires, what do you want to call it. You know, how about we just call it all psychic vampire, because they're all feeding off of psychic energy. And their donors are called crystal swan. And for the hybrids, the signators and psychic vampires, donors are called amber swan. Now, I never had a donor. You know, I learned to take energy from other sources like the sun or, you know, anything else. Or I actually learned how to take it from people when they give me the consent. And then I transmit that to positive, uplifting energy and send it back to them so they won't have to be drained. Because we don't want to, like, just take and then cause harm and then unbalance to their chakras, and they could become ill or, you know, just sick, you know. Kind of cold. I can tell you romance is nothing like in the Vampire Diaries. But hypnotism, yeah, that's real. I dealt with that a lot with an abusive ex. It helps her get away with me catching her cheating, and her being emotionally manipulative, but that actually counts as being abusive too. This hypnotism always makes you forgive her, and then it goes to puppy dog eyes, and then, you know, people can use this in such a way to get away with their abuse or just to get what they want. And sometimes it happens without will. Like, sometimes I could just ask somebody a favor without trying so hard, and, you know, I can't tell that I'm doing this. Like, I'm not conscious that I'm actually doing this hypnotism. Sorry. But at least I didn't use it in a destructive way. So it's good to know now, you know, now years of research, now I understand. Now, with the metaphor in movies or TV shows or whatever, think about Luis in the interview with a vampire, how everything just started opening up to him. You know, that's like after your spiritual awakening, things just start to open up. Now, I'm not saying everyone who goes to spiritual awakening is a vampire. But you remember the scene where he looks at the angel statue and it opens its eyes and it looks at him? That's something that, you know, if your mind's eye is already open, that is something that I actually experienced a lot when I was a kid, but not in like such a dramatic way like in that movie. But it's like their eyes literally there, like you see it through the astral, through your mind's eye, and it almost appears that it's physically, like in the physical level, that the eyes actually open, and then they start following you, and you can literally feel these statues come to life. It's like, okay, these are the angels that take themselves into these statues so they could be more closer, to have more stronger material connection to watch over us instead of through the spiritual connection. And things are more out there, you know, just like when you're like, let's say day 2 or 3 days within a fast. You know, you just have this healthy pineal gland, and I would say majority of the vampires have spiritual awakenings much more than the mundanes who are not vampires by nature. So it is kind of rare, and I guess not many of them would even explain this of their spiritual experiences. Not many of those in the vampire community, vampire, what do you want to call it? Now, as for, let's say, you know these characters like in Twilight. I know you probably didn't want to hear about Twilight, but hey, here's the thing. This relates to energy working. Vampires are very good at energy working. You know, we can be like masters of it without too much effort. As other people, it could take them a lot longer. So you have like atmokinesis or biokinesis or pyrokinesis or whatever. It doesn't take too much longer for us to achieve that. Now, biokinesis, maybe not too much in a dramatic way that your physical features could like just change right away, but at least it won't take so much time for us. I'm not trying to come off condescending. And of course, with pyrokinesis, it can be, you know, it's not the fire's gonna, like that guy in Breaking Dawn Part 1 or 2 who controls the elements. It's not gonna be like intense like that, but I think with so much practice, I think you can achieve so much. So we clear so much of these chemicals and everything that's holding us back in the foods that we consume. And when you connect to source energy a lot better, I think you can achieve so much, like a living God that's right in your face. I mean, we are living gods, we are gods. Just that vampires we're just more connected to that spiritual body, that spiritual self, than the physical body, like mundanes, who are more close attached to the ego self. You we still take care of ourselves spiritually the best that we can. We do get into meditation and whatnot. There's a lot of us, even within spiritual groups, but, too many of them bash on psychic vampires because, maybe because they're hypocrites, or maybe those people are just so ignorant and don't want to understand more on psychic vampires. I mean, yeah, there are psychic vampires there who can be destructive and message you, and I'm not saying all of them are sociopaths or psychopaths. There are psychic vampires who are empathic and don't have the intentions to harm anybody. And, I just want to speak up that, not all psychic vampires want to screw with you, and it's not always their intentions to feed on you. You may hang out with somebody and then you feel drained being around them, or they're constantly complaining about something, and it's not their intentions to drain you. They probably even know it. They probably even know anything about vampires at all. Never research it. There's a lot of people who come off mundane and could be one of us and don't know it. So, you probably know that person who you be around, and then you just feel drained. You're so fatigued, you just don't want to do anything. You probably wouldn't fall asleep. You probably yawn constantly around this person. Or you just feel like you need to get away from this person because maybe they come off so toxic, and that energy just come right off. And you can see through your mind's eye that they have that dark aura, but not, obviously not all of us are like that. There's many of us everywhere. There's many of us, even in the West Coast, many musicians, actors, and we're just constantly getting that energy from the attention online or in person or performances or whatever. That energy is out there, Imagine you're out there on stage, you're performing in front of everyone, you're killing it, and you're just getting that energy from the crowd. You get them cheering, you feel that energy, so it helps you even kill it even more, And if you're like, Slipknot, Emotionless So White, or whoever, and you got the pyro going, and then if you're, if you consider yourself an elemental vampire, then you get that energy from that element, the fire element. And we can manipulate energy in others. I mean, most people would automatically say manipulate them to get what you want and hurt them. But you can do this in a positive way. You can manipulate their energy to uplift them and even heal their chakras. And many of us will call ourselves Reiki practitioners. Like I said, we're really good at energy, manipulation and whatnot. So there's a lot of us who are Reiki practitioners, And, it's not really the cliche about us. It's not like you're a cliche gothic person or whatever. It could be anybody. You're a freaking doctor, or the normal guy driving the bus or the Jeep, which I just saw passing by, or, somebody who's working in a hotel lobby or whatever. Even your local priest. We're everywhere. So, it's not like there's an oath to keep a secret, like somebody's going to assassinate you for talking about it. The information is out there. A lot of information is out there. The ones that are more secretive, it's lichens. They're very secretive. But if you come across somebody and you feel like this person could tear you apart, you probably came across a lichen. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video in the future. Because it's not like in the movies with that as well. Got any questions? You gotta email me, you can comment, we'll talk more about it. You can subscribe. I'll be leaving links down in the description. Share it. Have an open mind to talk about this. You can understand more on a spiritual level on this. We already talked about astral projection too, and there's a lot more than meets the eye, and to all the other vampires out there. Come out wherever you are.